have been creating stuff. We're all creators, and I think that's just part of who we are as human beings. We create and build. Up in my area of town, up in Whittlesea, we have a annual art exhibition, and this year the community development people chose the theme on climate change. Now I'm a bit of a conservative when it comes to that subject matter, so whereas the general narrative is calamity, we're all going to die in 12 years and all that sort of stuff if you listen to a certain narrative. I take an approach where the world has been around for a long time, and from what I can see and through history is cycles. Now the other statement that goes with the piece is, as you can read up there, but I use the Fibonacci form. It's quite an interesting form. It's a very basic number sequence. We'll get into that, but that's basically my selling point to the curators, and they accepted it. So it is actually on exhibition at the moment. So we've got the SOS thing, and I use LEDs to emphasise aspects of it. Back to the Fibonacci. So most of you are probably familiar with it. It's a really basic sequence, but it produces quite a nice curve when the sequence is applied to a radius, and it looks like a growth sequence. Not strictly natural growth, but pretty close to it. It's quite nice and geometric, and from that you can see that I just applied it to some circuit board as my base material. I have written some poetry in the past as well, so writing a Fibonacci poem is quite fun. So it's a wee narrative as well, where each line associates with a number of syllables according to the Fibonacci pattern. So that only goes out to 8 syllables and then back in again. From the hardware perspective, yes, old PC motherboards. Interesting, at the opening I had this, it was very crowded, and some people took a very keen interest in it, and one older guy came up and he took a photo, and so I quizzed him as to why he was so interested in it. He said, "Oh, it's an Intel motherboard." I went, He said, yeah, my older brother, and he was an older gentleman, much older than me. He said his older brother worked for Intel and was instrumental. He was a physicist and instrumental in the reduction of their fabrication down to the nanometer scale. Just random there in Whittlesea. So he was taking a photo of it and sending it off to his brother. So in behind it is. I don't actually have a picture of what's in behind, but in behind is a gear chain made up of spur gears, and the centre driver is connected to a servo, just a miniature model servo, pulse width modulation. I did have the whole thing at one stage running off one ESP8266, but I found out later what the cause was, but having the servo and the LEDs running together was destabilising the whole system. So I separated it out. So I've got the main program running on one ESP and the LEDs, and then the second ESP is running the servo. And I've just got a really rudimentary communication protocol from one to the other. So the 3D printer, I've got a 3D printer at home that was invaluable. So any bit of specialised hardware that I needed, just throw it together in some basic CAD programs and print it out. It was really important for the LED mounts, well, for all the mounts actually, including producing the gears. I used acrylic rod, 3mm acrylic rod for the perimeters there, and then fed the light through LEDs from underneath, and the laptop power supply, a couple of buck. The reason why different 2 buck converters, I wanted maximum power to the servo, which is about 6.5 volts, and 5 volts, and high current for the LEDs and the ESP. And it is large. It's this big. And as my partner says, this here, having a picture of it just doesn't do it justice. I'm quite chuffed with that, because that's where we are our own worst critics. But it's really nice to put a huge amount of hours in, and then you get some positive feedback. Okay, actually that was pretty good. It's nice. There were a few times, as probably many of you can relate to, you put so much energy into something, you just hit all these brick walls where you just like boot the thing away, just trash it. I've got very close to that a couple of times with this, but I'm glad I got it finished. Finished on the day of the exhibition, of course. And then on the night of the exhibition, some little sticky fingered kid stuck his finger in it and jammed up one of the boards, and so that burnt out the servo, which really was a real downer. So to get to the exhibition opening and the thing's not working. The lights were working, but so I just disconnected the servo, and I was still able to show people how it worked. But, it's working now. So this is the exhibition. If you are up our way, so we'll see South Morang, Epping. The council is at South Morang. Pop in and have a look at it. The hours are real crap though. It's only daytimes during the weekdays. Us artists, we are putting political pressure on the council to get us an art gallery. There are a lot of artists. City of Whittlesea has a population of about 240,000. It's quite large, but it's a really large geographic area as well, and it's one of the high growth outer suburbs. But it's a mindset thing. Everybody understands the benefits of putting sports grounds in, so that's where all the money's going, but it's not going into the creative side of things at all. And this is some of the other stuff I do. So in the past I've made cufflinks. You see a bit of a theme here. I do like using circuit boards, and one of the reasons why is it's about capturing and keeping the engineering that goes into this sort of hardware. Like people like yourselves who actually design stuff. Too often, circuit boards, old PCs just get trashed and end up in the landfill. That's how I got most of my material. I diverted about 100 PCs away from the landfill. Took all the hardware and it's going to be turned into art. So the more feminine pieces I've made for my partner, and gentleman's cufflinks. So put my contact details if you want a set of cufflinks or your partners wondering. I should know. I think these ones here are probably memory. I think that there's some sort of EEPROM. that is it.
There you go.
Thank you.